Junior World Championship was different at that time. I think it was 5 years in a row he won the Junior World Championship. And this guy was fencing with a pommel in Epé. Never took a lesson. He took, I think, 2 or 3 lessons when he was a little kid. He was beating everybody, holding. Never took a lesson. And all the coaches were so, the masters at that time, they were very proud, If you don't take a lesson, you won't be good. These guys were beating everybody with a pommel. 5 times Junior World Champion. Jacob Robinson.
What did he do past junior? What did he do past junior?
He was a little bit different. Right? He wanted to take a lesson. All the masters were asking me, okay, let me take a lesson. No, I don't need a lesson. He quit after that.
I think in some respects it's the fencer's ability to adapt their system on the piece. So as a coach, you are trying to beat your system. Now, this other person like you, he had a system and it was perfect. But then it's how does your system work against my system and how can I adapt my system? And maybe this is where the coach starts to help them to learn to see other systems. So like you said, you can take the perfect lesson. The name that comes to my head is Romankopf. Romankopf was classic, but when he fenced, you'd never believe that
he was classic.
He was very classic, very classic. But again, too, it's that the ability to adapt to make my system work against your system.
It's always rewarding as a coach when you see a good fencer, a beautiful fencer winning.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, of course.
Well, our job, when you correct everything, right? The lesson, watch your feet, your hand, and then when a good fencer can do that, he wins. Like a Romankopf, that's very rewarding. Hey, if you think you're taking a lot of investment job, and what is your guy doing this, and winning, they say, oh.
That's the thing that's so disturbing is when your fencer looks good and they're getting beat by the, and they're doing that. It's like.
And as a referee, it is so hard to make that call and give that jump, and you got to go. Oh,
but who has to adapt? Is it this person that has to adapt?
No,
other person.
This is what I was saying though. The good fencer is failing to recognize that I have to think out of the box with this particular style. It may not, you may not see that kind of style very often. When you run into it, you've got to be able to adapt and change. Doing it harder and faster isn't going to work here.
And you have respect.
Actually, it never works.
You still have a weapon in your hand. I still have got the respect.
And they've got a lot of practice.
Again, too, that's the psychological. Perhaps I don't take you serious because you're doing this.
And they get frustrated when they can't put the point on. So after down 2-0, and now they're just fighting instead of thinking.
No reading, 10%.
Sorry. You're right, you know too well.
I don't know. I have to start with one or another.
When you give a lesson, right? So you give it for the art of fencing, but when you're on the strip and you're competing, you're no longer Mr. Nice Guy. Forget about it. Your claws come out, you're there to just whip them as fast as you can and move on to the next one. So that's why you gotta have, if you remember something in the lesson, that's good, but if it takes something else to beat the guy, we're gonna do something else to beat the guy.
Often you see a guy, and I experienced, a guy on the street doing something you never thought he could do. The fencer has to bring his own personality. Like Marks, everybody knows it. He was doing stuff on the street I never thought him to do. I was very happy to see that. He was bringing something. And I explained to Nick when she was losing against somebody, I say, you have to bring something on the street. You cannot just go by the lessons. This guy doesn't know what she's doing. She beat you 5-1, 5-2. Come on, for 4 minutes, whatever. You have to show me something.
Coach, so if your fencers make something, you never teach him. Are you going to adapt? Are you going to give him this or not?
Even if it's a bad move, I think you should work on it. My old masters told me, if somebody has a bad habit, try to make the bad habit effective. Think about that. Even if it's not pretty. If I see somebody, like I said, doing something that I don't teach, I would try to do it, try to make it even better. Does it make sense?
So start teaching to more people. Start teaching it to more people.
Yes. Bear mind on what?
Kids that it's like, we've never done that in a lesson ever, and you do it all the time when you're fencing. I'm going to do it in a lesson just so that I can say that, hey, at least we worked on it. Because you're making it work out there. Maybe you're.
I tell my friends all the time, if you hit what you do, it's good. It works. Stop waiting.
You said your fencing master said that if they had a bad habit, try and make the bad habit effective.
Yes.
Is that only if it works while they're fencing on the strip during competition?
Yes.
So normally you wouldn't want to try and correct that bad habit and get them out of it?
No.
No. Only because it worked?
Yes.
But if it doesn't work?
Yes. I don't remember the exact execution. I remember I had 2 or 3 examples. And also remember what my old masters told me, you don't win races if you don't have the right horses. Oh. You don't win races if you don't have the right horses. Is it true or not? Now I have a good question for you, it's completely different. Maybe Eli was there. Do you feel sometimes when you give a lesson, you didn't do a good job?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, but Coach,
I do. Sometimes I give a lesson and I don't know how I'm doing. I don't have any imagination. I don't know what to come up with. I'm thinking about my dinner or what kind of wine I'm going to
But
drink.
someone tells you that?
And then at the end of the lesson, the fencer tells you, I wasn't too good today, you take a good lesson. But you don't say, it wasn't me, you don't never say that. You're always fine, right?
Always the students.
Especially when you're
Always the students.
Did that happen to you?
Yep.
You are not good for the lesson, you didn't have a good lesson. Why? Because you were like,
I was talking to Jerry earlier about the student, Kathy Stockdale. She came in here.
Saber girl.
Yeah, the Saber girl. Didn't have anybody to fence Saber with or help give her lessons or drills or anything like that. So I got asked. So halfway through the lesson, I found myself running out of ideas. That's when I felt like hey, I'm not doing good enough. I'm not doing this kid any justice here. So I didn't want her to pay for that lesson. Because I felt like we're going through this stuff and I'm running out of things to show her. What am I going to show her? She was above my skill level. That's probably about one time I felt like.
But I think there's a concept too, especially at a higher level, that and actually I think we should actually enable it. Is that the student becomes more and more responsible for their lesson.
Yes.
In other words, they have to start taking an investment in that. It's not just me telling them what to do and they just like a robot follow that. They have to become a little bit more. And they may say, Coach, I'd really like to work on this. Well, when you do that, it's really difficult for me to. So and then again, the higher they get, the more they have to. I think they should have input to what they're doing. Early on, no.
Absolutely.
Later on, I think they have responsibility to their lesson.
Just as an addendum to that, one thing that we've been doing in my program is the kid has to turn in the lesson somewhere within 24 hours. They have to write emails saying this is what we did in the lesson so we know that they actually paying attention. But more importantly, if they want to work on something specifically, they'll say, can we work on, the free flesh, whatever it is, and then I try to work, and then I keep notes on these lessons that I give, and then I look at that and go, okay, let's progress to this. If they want to work on something, I'm happy to do that. We'll throw away the whole lesson. But I found that making them write the summary makes them think about what it is that they did in the lesson, and then they do a better job of remembering it.
this corner, I didn't hear much.
Just a comment to piggyback on what Jerry Benson said. The student taking more control of the lesson as a higher level competitor. I think there's a whole section on that in Understanding Fencing, the Tchaikovsky book, where he says that the student progresses through various levels in their experience, and the highest tier is where they're doing the relationship between the coach and the student is more of a peer level, where they're helping to coach themselves and using you as a way to enable their development, rather than simply being the student saying yes or no, sir, thank you, sir.
Anything else?
And I think it's very important to recognize that we as coaches are human and that we make mistakes. When I started to learn to teach, I was told never hit the student make a mistake. Well, okay, but I'm not perfect. And the student knows I'm not perfect. If I bluff the student, I am perfect. That's a little my credibility. I want to be good. I want to do a professional job for my students. I want to prepare them as best as I can. But every one of us has some days when we're off. It's important to recognize it.
Okay, guys, we are going to step on and we are going to do some more. Okay?
Okay, sir.